Bao Island Storyteller, Journey to the West. Hey kids, welcome to Bao Island. On Bao Island, every story has a taste. Today's taste is dark warming broth and soft peanut-dusted mochi. This episode, we're in Taitung City. Today's story, rescued by a princess.
Welcome back to the Bao Island bus. We've come into Taitung City, the main city of Taitung County, sitting at the southern end of the Rift Valley where the mountains open up and the land meets the coast. We're parked at the Taitung Forest Park.
Looking around, oh, this is so different from what I expected. There are palm trees, and these wooden boardwalks, and, are those lagoons? In the city?
The forest park was built on a strip of land between the city and the coast. There are two large lagoons, Huayan Lake and Carp Lake, surrounded by introduced forest, and the whole area has become home to a huge variety of birds.
There's a heron right there. Just standing in the shallows, not moving. Looking at the water.
The park was developed in the 1990s to give this stretch of coast some protection and to create green space for the city. Before that, it was mostly scrubland. Now it's one of the best urban birding spots in all of Taiwan.
You can see the ocean from the boardwalk. The forest on one side, the Pacific on the other. And then mountains behind the city in the distance. Taitung is surrounded.
It's compact. Everything is close. The ocean, the mountains, the rivers, nothing is far from anything else.
What an ordinary miracle.
Let's walk over to the Railway Arts Village, the old railway maintenance yard just a few blocks from here.
Excitedly, the buildings are all old industrial architecture, brick walls, high ceilings, iron doors, and then inside and painted all over the outside there are murals and sculptures and installations that local artists have made.
Taitung has a long history with the railway. The line from Hualien down the east coast was one of the most technically difficult railway projects in Taiwan, built through mountains and along sea cliffs. When the line was modernized and the old maintenance yard was no longer needed, rather than demolishing it, they kept the buildings and opened them up.
The machinery is gone, but the bones of the place remain. Artists moved in and made something new from what was left.
The buildings were built to last, thick brick, steel frames. They survived decades of typhoons and earthquakes. Now they hold art instead of engines.
Something that looks old but is actually very alive. Built for one purpose, transformed into another.
That's the princess in today's story, actually. Quiet and patient and seemingly powerless. But she held something together for 13 years.
Tell me about the princess.
There's something here, something you can only taste on Bao Island, where a lagoon reflects the sky like still silver, and herons stand so motionless you could almost mistake them for memories.
Excited, what is it? Tell me, tell me.
Take a guess.
Mouth full, let me take a bite first. Excitedly, first, food. We found a breakfast stall in the Beinan district, the old heart of Taitung City. Pig blood soup, I know that sounds alarming.
How is it?
The base is a clear, rich broth, made from pork bones, ginger, and rice wine, very clean tasting, slightly sweet. And in the broth, cubes of solidified pig blood, dark reddish-brown, very soft, almost silky, like a tender tofu. On top, basil leaves, spring onions, and a little sesame oil.
It's a winter morning food. Warms you from the inside.
It's darker and earthier than regular pork soup, but not in a bad way, in a deep, mineral, substantial way. One bowl and you feel like you've been refueled. And there's this unexpected comfort to it, like something your grandmother would make when the weather turned cold.
laughing, an appropriate meal for a princess who has been waiting a long time in the dark for something to happen, and then acts the moment it does.
Okay, princess. Go.
When Tang Monk's party was captured and taken into the kingdom of Baoshan, here is the situation they found. The king of this kingdom is called the Calf Demon, a demon who has taken over the kingdom, taken the human king prisoner, and ruled in his place for 13 years.
13 years. Nobody knew he was a demon?
Everyone knew something was wrong. The Real King managed to smuggle letters out before he was imprisoned, letters pleading for help, addressed to any pilgrim passing through. But 13 years passed, and no one came to help.
And the princess kept the letters?
Princess Baihuaxiu was young when her father was taken. She's been in the palace all this time, in the demon king's court, keeping those letters hidden, waiting. Every pilgrim who passed through, she looked at carefully. She was waiting for monks from the east, heading west.
For Tang Monk's party.
She didn't know it was Tang Monk specifically. She just knew what she was waiting for. And after 13 years, Tang Monk arrived.
What did she do when she recognized him?
She didn't wait for a plan to form or for someone else to act. She found Tang Monk the first chance she had to, spoke quickly and quietly, handed him the letters, and said, "My father is imprisoned. You are the ones he wrote to. Please help us. I can get you out of the palace."
Just like that? 13 years of waiting and then the moment arrives and she moves immediately?
She had 13 years to think about what she would do when this moment came. She was ready.
That is preparation.
There's something important there. She didn't wait passively. She waited actively, stayed ready, kept the letters, kept looking. Waiting and being ready are two different things.
She got Tang Monk out of the palace through a secret passage before the calf demon realized what was happening. She gave him the letters for the Jade Emperor. She told him everything she knew about the demon, his powers, his weaknesses, his routines.
She did everything she could do.
Everything. And then she had to trust that the rest would happen. While Tang Monk was being helped out of the palace, Sandy and Pigsy were still inside the Demon King's compound. They tried to negotiate, or rather, they tried to fight their way out.
How did that go?
Sandy is steady and strong in a defensive fight. Pigsy is capable when he's fully engaged. But the calf demon is powerful and in his own territory, and without Sun Wukong to lead the attack, they couldn't break through.
Even together they couldn't do it?
They got pushed back. The demon had guards, magical defenses, and the advantage of the home ground. Sandy and Pigsy retreated to where Tang Monk and the princess were hiding.
Then what?
They had a meeting. A very honest meeting. Tang Monk, Sandy, Pigsy, and the princess in a dark corridor, assessing the situation clearly. The demon was too strong. The palace was too fortified. They needed more power.
They needed Sun Wukong.
They needed Sun Wukong. We've been walking further along the boardwalk. The lagoon is very still this afternoon.
Looking out, that heron is still standing in the same spot. It hasn't moved since we arrived. Just watching the water, waiting.
Herons can stand perfectly still for hours waiting for fish to come within range. They don't chase. They wait.
What it was is gone, the scrubland that was here before the park. What's here now will change again.
Everything in this park has been shaped by what was planted and what was left alone.
The princess's kingdom looked a certain way when her father was king. After 13 years of the demon, it looked different. The bones were still there, the walls, the throne room, the secret passages she had memorized as a child. But the feeling of the place was changed.
Like Flower Fruit Mountain. The bones stayed. But it wasn't the same.
Stories often rhyme. Different people, different situations, same shape underneath. Sandy put it plainly. He said, "One of us needs to go to Flower Fruit Mountain and ask Sun Wukong to come back."
And everyone looked at Pigsy.
Sandy looked at Pigsy. Tang Monk looked at the floor. The princess didn't understand the full context, but she could read the room.
What did Pigsy say?
He said "Why me?" several different ways over the course of several minutes. He said he didn't know the route. Sandy told him the route. He said Sun Wukong would be angry. Sandy said possibly, but he'd still come. He said it was too far. Sandy said it wasn't.
Laughing, how long did this go on?
Long enough. Eventually Sandy reminded him, and the text does this very directly, "You were the one who whispered to the master. You undid what was built. It falls to you to rebuild it."
Seriously, that's accountability. That's real accountability.
Sandy is one of those characters who says very little most of the time, but when he speaks, it lands.
Sandy is underrated.
Very underrated. Pigsy ran out of excuses. He flew off to find Flower Fruit Mountain, grumbling the whole way.
We've come around to the mochi shop, the Chen Family mochi, which is the most famous in Taitung.
With serious reverence, mochi. Taitung mochi is different from Japanese mochi, or even from other Taiwanese mochi. The dough is made from glutinous rice grown locally, and it comes in bigger pieces, dusted with roasted peanut powder and sesame, sometimes with red bean paste inside.
What are we eating?
The texture is soft, genuinely, completely soft, but with this satisfying resistance when you bite through. Not gummy, not sticky in an unpleasant way. Just the most tender chew. And the peanut powder on the outside is toasted and faintly sweet and slightly nutty, so every bite has the softness of the rice and the crunch of the coating.
Taitung mochi became a famous travel souvenir during the Japanese colonial period. Travelers would bring it back from the East Coast as a gift.
The most honest food is food that doesn't pretend to be anything other than what it is. Rice, peanuts, a little sugar. Simple materials, held together by craft.
The princess gave the letters directly to Tang Monk. No interpretation, no delay. Just the truth, handed over.
Everything connects.
Laughing, always. Pigsy arrived at Flower Fruit Mountain and found Sun Wukong directing a group of monkeys in rebuilding the main cave wall. Sun Wukong saw Pigsy coming from a long way off, his fire eyes pick up details at distance, and said nothing, waiting.
He knew why Pigsy was coming.
He had a very good idea. He let Pigsy land, let him catch his breath, let him start the elaborate compliments. And then said, "Stop. Tell me what happened."
Pigsy tells him?
Everything. The Black Pine Forest, the capture, the Demon King, the princess, the failed attempt to fight their way out. Sun Wukong listened with his arms crossed, asking precise questions. What did the demon look like? What weapons did he carry? What did his cave entrance look like? Not anger. Information gathering.
He's already planning.
He always thinks this way. Even in the middle of everything else, the problem-solving part of his mind is running.
Does he say anything about being sent away?
He says one thing. He looks at Pigsy and says, "You told the master I liked killing." Not a question. Just a statement.
Quietly, what does Pigsy say?
Pigsy says nothing. He looks away. And Sun Wukong says, "Let's go."
I keep thinking about Princess Baihuaxiu. 13 years is so long. She must have been a child when her father was taken.
Young enough that those 13 years shaped how she grew up. Her whole life under the Demon King's rule, learning to be invisible, to be patient, to keep the letters hidden. She grew up in waiting.
And nobody came for 12 years. How do you not give up?
Some people are made for that kind of waiting. Not everyone, but some people have that quality. They hold a purpose across a very long time and it doesn't decay.
What do you think kept her going?
The text doesn't tell us her inner thoughts. But there's something in the structure of the chapter that suggests it. She didn't tell anyone she was waiting. She didn't make speeches about it. She just kept the letters. She kept watching the road.
Private persistence.
The kind that doesn't need to be witnessed to continue. That might be the rarest kind.
Quietly, I think that's the kind that actually works. The kind where you don't need anyone else to see it.
Sun Wukong's persistence is loud. He announces himself, he argues, he makes his presence felt. The princess's persistence was silent. Both got the same result.
Different styles. Same strength.
We've come back to the forest park in the late afternoon. The light is completely different now.
Odd, the lagoon in the evening light, the water is turning that deep amber gold you only see at this hour, and the palm trees are casting long shadows across the boardwalk. The heron is still there. Still standing. Still waiting.
The forest park faces east toward the Pacific. In the morning, sunrise hits the lagoon first. In the evening, the light comes over the mountains behind the city and paints everything gold.
It's been photographed 10,000 times and still every photograph looks different.
That's a place that holds still while everything around it changes.
Like the letters. Hidden but intact for 13 years.
Thoughtfully, what did the letters say, do you think? Like, what do you write to someone you haven't met, asking them to save your kingdom?
The text says only that the letters described the demon's takeover and asked any pilgrim from the east, heading west, to carry the plea to the Jade Emperor and ask for heavenly intervention.
A letter to a stranger. Written in hope that eventually the right stranger would come.
Which is what every message in a bottle is.
Quietly, Tang Monk was the right stranger.
I want to talk about the moment Sun Wukong says "let's go." Because I think it's easy to read past it.
Why?
He was dismissed. He was told in writing that he was no longer a disciple. He went back to Flower Fruit Mountain, found it damaged, started rebuilding. He had very legitimate reasons to stay. Nobody would have blamed him.
But he goes.
Without conditions. He doesn't say only if the master apologizes. He doesn't say I'll go but I want an acknowledgement. He hears that Tang Monk is in danger and he asks for the information and he goes.
Is that too forgiving? Like, is it realistic that someone would do that?
I think it's showing us something about what real loyalty means. It's not the same as agreement. He still knows he was right about the white bone demon. He still knows Pigsy lied. He doesn't agree with what was done to him.
But he goes anyway.
Because the master is in danger and that matters more.
And because there's a passage later, after this is all resolved, where Sun Wukong says something telling. He says, the journey is the master's journey. If he fails, everything fails. Not just Tang Monk personally. The whole purpose.
The sutras. The enlightenment. The reason they're walking west.
Sun Wukong cares about the purpose. Enough to go back, even after being sent away.
Time to wrap up. The lagoon is in the last of the light. The heron has finally moved, it caught something.
Today we came to Taitung City, the unhurried capital of the East, where a railway yard became an arts village and lagoons full of herons sit between forest and sea. We ate pig blood soup, dark and warming. We ate handmade mochi, soft and roasted sweet. And we heard the story of Princess Baihuaxiu, who waited 13 years, kept her father's letters hidden, and moved immediately when the moment came. And Pigsy, who had to swallow his pride and ask for the help he helped destroy. And Sun Wukong, who heard his master was in danger and said, "Let's go."
Without conditions.
Without conditions.
What's next?
Next time we head up the east coast to Chenggong and Chongbin, the wild Pacific highway where the mountains drop straight into the sea. We'll have wahoo fish noodles and fresh sashimi. And the story, the demon has a plan of her own. She disguises herself as the princess. Tang Monk is tricked into the palace. The white horse stands at the gate crying. And without Sun Wukong, everything starts coming apart.
The white horse. You mentioned he does something.
Softly, the ones who go without conditions are the ones who matter most. On Bao Island, stories grow up with you.